Hospital Porters Pride and Dignity Stop the New World Order. Welcome to Hapanwo TV. I've just been watching Dr. Paul Taylor. Now, Dr. Paul Taylor has just done a speech about coincidence and the misperception of coincidence by paranormal believers. Now, I've talked a lot about this, and it's been spoken of a probe. Speakers at probe like Brian Halliwell have discussed this subject, where what's the difference between coincidence and synchronicity, and great psychologists like Carl Jung and others have theories about about synchronicity. Carl Jung said that sometimes things happened that were so unlikely that they had to be significant, and he saw significance in them. Now, of course, the sceptical view is there is no significance in them and they're just coincidences. Now, the problem I have with this position is that it is effectively unfalsifiable, because no matter how unlikely something is, if it is physically possible, then you can never say this is so unlikely that it can never happen. So in the case of Carl Jung, he was sitting in his office one day while one of his patients was on a couch, and she was talking about a dream about a scarab beetle, which is a beetle that lives in the Middle East. It's not native to North America, which is where his office was. His office was in New York. At that very moment, a scarab beetle flew in through the window and landed on his desk. Now, that to me sounds significant, very significant, but of course a skeptic will say that's just a coincidence. It's very unlikely. The chances of it are billions and trillions to one. But it is physically possible. So therefore, it can never be so unlikely. It can happen. There's no chance it can be so unlikely that it'll never happen. And the thing about skeptics is skeptics will always choose the normal explanation over the paranormal, even if the paranormal one makes much, much more sense. I recommend a book called Beyond Coincidence by two authors. I can't remember their names, but this is really what I want to say to this guy. I mean, yeah, he may be right up to a point, but he's basically got a get out of jail free card for the debunkers. It is a joker that they can play. They can just say coincidence, and it's like a magic wand. It waves away all dissent. Richard, I think you want to say something about this as well, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, he pulled out a lot of Venn diagrams there, and he sort of lost me when he started talking about statistics, as he'd probably lose a lot of people in a paranormal conference when you start talking about mathematics. Now, I'm not saying that mathematics isn't important, but when you start talking about statistics, you can prove pretty much anything through statistics. And like I say, because it's a mathematical construct, people do tend to listen. But I mean, Dr. Rogers there, he was I can describe him in 2 words: statistical skeptic.
Dr. Paul Rogers. I called him Dr. Paul Taylor. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, Dr. Paul Rogers.
Yeah, let's get the names right.
Yeah, I was thinking of Roger Taylor, the singer. I've called Paul Weller. I called him Paul Weller, and then I called him Dr. Roger Taylor.
Yeah, that's why everyone's wearing name badges, so we can get the names right.
So just in case I forget mine, here it is. Keep it there. Now exactly. I mean, he made a lot of analogies to do with football matches and things like that, because I mean, I'm well aware that we do sometimes underestimate chance. For instance, on a football field during a match, there is a 50-50 chance that 2 of the people will share the same birthday. That's all 22 players plus the referee. That's because in a sample of 23 people, there is a 50-50 chance that someone will share the same birthday. Now, what Paul Rogers was saying, Paul Taylor was saying. Paul Rogers was saying is that paranormal believers are more likely to misinterpret chance and coincidence than skeptics.
He was really putting down paranormal believers, wasn't he? It's like saying, paranormal believers are pretty much thick.
Well, it is. I mean, in all these psychological surveys, I've noticed there is this kind of subtle undertone of contempt, and I mean. I think this guy's a bit of a Chris French wannabe, actually. But
I mean, in all these statistics, he forgot to add in any variables. It was a Chelsea win, Chelsea score first, Chelsea win and score first.
I did not get that at all.
Yeah, it was a bit. It was very tenuous, wasn't it?
One of the Venn diagrams described a scenario where Chelsea play Bath City. Chelsea, a big Premiership side, plays Bath City, a little kind of lower league side. Luckily, there are no local people in the room to be offended, but because we're in Bath. But and then the scenarios where Chelsea score first and win, Bath score first, bust, score first and lose. And there was but the thing is though, I mean, one of the choices was the Chelsea score first. Okay, you can choose that, but surely, you know, there has to be an outcome to the match. I mean, unless a meteor falls on the stadium and kills everyone before the final whistle, there has to be some kind of outcome to the match, doesn't there?
What are the statistical odds of a meteor falling on the match?
Well, it's funny. You've reminded me of a perfect example of what I've been talking about, right? I read Andy Roberts' book. I mean, I've reviewed this in Japan. I'll put a link in the description box. Andy Roberts spoke of the Berwyn Mountains UFO crash, and he describes it as an amazing coincidence when a bolide meteor flies across North Wales at the very same moment that a 6 magnitude earthquake hits Wales too. Now, and I mean, you could say to him, well, that's odd, you know, these two things, these very unlikely things. Things just don't often happen. Bolide meteors are very rare, earthquakes are very rare, especially in North Wales. But they happened exactly the same time. And you can do, well, get your magic wand out. It's a coincidence.
Yeah, get your abacus out and work the statistical probability of that.
It's countless billions to one, probably. But I mean, he actually puts it down in his book. But the thing is, you can never prove him wrong. There is no answer to that. It's unfalsifiable. Yeah. And that's. So he may be right, but he has a
jiggery-pokery of mathematics, isn't it?
Yeah.
And statistics.
And it is a get-out-of-jail-free card for anyone who wants to debunk anything. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.